Hello, everybody. It's time for me to say two of my favorite words to you. It's Friday. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. It's Friday, February 21st, 2020. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about a lot of interesting things today. In just a minute, 3 News sports analyst Ben Axelrod will be joining us. He's going to talk about Charles Barkley weighing in on the former Cleveland Cavaliers head coach John Beilein situation, what he thinks about the players and the role that they had to play in him stepping down, and he's got some harsh words for them. We're going to talk to Ben all about that. And then we're going to take a look at Cedar Point giving away lifetime tickets to a select number of people, only 150 people actually, plus more updates about what we can expect to see at the park for the 150th anniversary season. That's coming up in May, that opening day. A lot of people are anticipating that. And then we're going to take a look at what you can do this weekend to have some fun here in Northeast Ohio, plus remind you that those Rascal Flatts tickets go on sale today. All right, now we're going to bring in our 3 News sports analyst, Ben Axelrod. He wrote the story last night when Charles Barkley was talking about what the Cleveland Cavaliers had to do with John Beilein stepping down as the head coach. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So Barkley weighing in on this, he had some pretty harsh words for the players. What do you have to say?
Yeah, if you were watching Inside the NBA, which is TNT's studio show on Thursday nights, they had returned from the All-Star break. The Brooklyn Nets were playing the Philadelphia 76ers, and Charles Barkley and Ernie Johnson and Kenny Smith and Shaquille O'Neal were, bantering about the game. And then before they tossed it over to the game, which was in Philadelphia, Charles Barkley said he wanted to say something about the Cleveland Cavaliers of all teams, which, not particularly relevant as far as the Nets and Sixers are concerned. But he wanted to make clear that he was really, I think his word was disgusted with the Cleveland Cavaliers players.
Wow.
And the way they treated John Beilein throughout his 54 games in Cleveland. He said, and this is something he's accused them of before, that they tried to get him fired, and that, basically between the veteran players not acting like leaders and the younger players thinking that they're better than they actually are, that he was just, really disgusted by the way the Cavs treated John Beilein, and throughout a tenure that ultimately resulted in him resigning after just 54 games.
Wow. And, there's been a lot of conversation about the fact that Beilein had a tough transition from the college world to the professional NBA world. Do you think that's fair to say? Do you think that had a major play in him being, ending up resigning?
Yeah, there's no question about it. And that's something, when they first hired him, that's the biggest question is he has 40 years of head coaching experience at the college level, but no NBA experience. And that's something we've seen coaches struggle with in the past. There have been a number of coaches who try to make that leap and ultimately fail. And some, I think the shortest tenured NBA head coach of all time was 12 games, and that was another college coach trying to make the jump to the
Wow.
NBA, and it just didn't work. There have been coaches who have been successful with it. Brad Stevens with the Celtics, Billy Donovan with the Oklahoma City Thunder. This has worked before, but ultimately John Beilein just between the disconnect between him and the players, it almost became like a cliche of everything that can go wrong with the college coach trying to make that jump, and how ultimately there is a big gulf between the NBA and the college game.
One of those specific examples that we actually talked a little bit about yesterday before we went on the air for What's New, we were talking about the fact that Beilein wanted them to practice on Christmas Day when they didn't have a game that day, the Cavs this year. And that's unusual, I guess? Yeah,
that's something that, probably epitomizes that gulf is if you're running a college program, kids are around town, they, you could practice on Christmas, you could practice on Thanksgiving, and they're kind of at your mercy as far as when you're going to make your practice schedule. But in the NBA, it's, it's a more player-driven atmosphere. The players want some say in that sort of scheduling. I know, Christmas Day is a big NBA day as far as there being nationally televised games around the league. When LeBron was in Cleveland, the Cavs played on every Christmas Day. So it's not like Christmas is some sacred day as far as not playing basketball for the players. But if you're not playing, that's an opportunity. You're going to be off Christmas Eve, you're going to be off Christmas Day. That's an opportunity for these guys to maybe get out of town. They fly on private jets all the time. They don't want to be beholden to a college type of practice schedules. So I think ultimately, ultimately, one, they didn't wind up practicing. I think the word got to John Beilein that hey, you can't do this. I know with the Lakers, where LeBron James plays now, they played on Christmas, but when it came to Christmas Eve and how they handled practice, it was a collaborative thing where the head coach there, Frank Vogel, went to LeBron James, went to Anthony Davis, his 2-star players, and said, hey, how do you guys want to handle this? And I think that's ultimately, like I said, kind of just epitomizes that gulf between John Beilein and the NBA players.
Before we get even deeper into this, I want to remind our viewers that are watching us on Facebook Live and YouTube right now, if you have any questions or comments, please do weigh in the comment. We are paying attention as we go on, and we will answer any questions that we're able to answer if you have any that pop up for us, or any comments on the whole situation. Another comment that was made about the transition from college to NBA is that he wanted them to watch too much film.
Yeah, and that's, something that I kind of wrestle with, but as far as Charles Barkley was concerned, like that's what he really, and I know we're going to talk about the slugs and thugs thing in a minute here, but Charles Barkley has been pretty consistent in his criticism about the Cavs, because they've been talking about the Cavs and John Beilein a lot, because they have been making headlines for that disconnect between John Beilein and the players. He's been consistent in backing John Beilein, saying, who are you, the Cleveland Cavaliers, 14-40, to be saying you're watching too much film, or to be practicing too hard? I think his exact words was, y'all are complaining because y'all stink. And I think it's kind of one of those things where if the Cavs were winning and the results were showing up and they liked John Beilein, these wouldn't be things they're complaining about. These aren't things, that I think ultimately were at the top of their complaints about him. But I do think it's something where there was that disconnect and kind of like, when somebody just rubs you the wrong way and you look for every little thing that annoys you about that person, then it kind of balloons. You're looking at me. We sit next to each other. I feel like we're looking at each other here now. But yeah, it's one of those things where I think it just kind of ballooned, and those they were more symptoms of the disease than the actual problem.
You had mentioned too, and we're going to bring this up now, so Barkley also supported Beilein when he made that slip up, when he called the players thugs in a film session, said that he meant to say slugs. Barkley supported him. The players also publicly supported him, though.
Yeah.
But that was not the case in the locker room.
It sounds like it, yeah. And I don't think, the players came out and everybody said the right things. I think they were in Detroit after John Beilein called them thugs in a film session. He came back and said he meant to say slugs. But it kind of ballooned into this thing where they didn't know if they were going to keep him as head coach at the time. And then they come out. John Beilein says all the right things, the players say all the right things, but it sounds like the players weren't really buying his explanation. There was a report in The Athletic that they were actually insulted, that he tried to use that as his excuse and as his explanation, as a cover for the whole thing. So, they retaliated by playing, a lot of songs that put a heavy emphasis on the word thugs in the weight room, on the team bus, around John Beilein whenever they were in earshot of him. So I think once you get to that, it kind of just becomes an untenable situation.
Right, and I'm just going to say that I really appreciate the Cavs doing that.
I mean, I'm up for some Trick Daddy whenever you want to play it around me, so I that's fine by me.
Classics. Kevin Love specifically, though, he came out and said that the players could have really done more to help Beilein transition from the college level to the NBA level. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think it's everybody saying the right things. And Kevin Love came out and, John Beilein actually came back from the All-Star break and addressed the team after he had resigned. He still addressed the team, kind of one final, coach's address, which is really unique. I mean, Tristan Thompson was making the point yesterday that he's been here for 9 years. I think he's played for 8 head coaches. So he's seen a lot of guys come and go. He's never had a head coach who was fired or resigned address the team after it happened. So I do take the players at their word that they were moved by that and that they respected that and appreciated that. But, Kevin Love was kind of forthright in saying, we as players could have done more. We could have helped ease this transition. But I also don't know if there was a lot of regret in Kevin Love's words. It kind of just sounded like him speaking matter-of-factly about the situation more than it did him, offering a mea culpa for how he wishes he would have handled it.
All right. Before I let you go, we do have one viewer comment I want to ask, not to put you on the spot,
Sure.
Ben. You may not have time to review this tape yet because it just ended, but Matt Croft is asking what we think of Dan Gilbert's press conference.
Yeah.
We were actually waiting for that to finish so that we would go live for you today. We probably have to review that tape before we write the story.
I didn't see it. I was preparing with you, so
Okay.
I don't feel qualified enough to say one way or the other.
So, Matt, you can look for that article. We will have that up on WKYC.com and our 3 News app, I'm sure, very soon here to talk about what Dan Gilbert had to say. And we live streamed it as well, so you can find that in our videos here on Facebook.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Ben.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. All right, now to some exciting news here in Northeast Ohio. Cedar Point is giving away lifetime tickets. This ticket offers guests free admission to Cedar Point, the Cedar Point Shores Water Park, and free parking for the rest of their lives. Yes, the rest of their lives. But it's so special, you can't actually purchase it. You can only win it in a special contest that they're having. Only 150 people will win this special lifetime ticket. And that contest starts on Monday, February 24th. That's when they open their lifetime ticket contest. One winner will be chosen every single week between now and August 16th. And all of those winners will also be given 3 lifetime tickets to gift to their family and friends. So if you win the lifetime ticket, you don't have to go alone. You will be able to bring your friends and loved ones with you. The website for that is ticketofalifetime.com. Again, that opens on Monday. The website is there right now, but if you go to that website right now, it's just going to tell you to come back on Monday. And also, if you don't win every week, you can actually come back every week and enter for a chance to win thousands of other prizes according to Cedar Point. And I haven't said what those other prizes are, but I'm sure they'll be fantastic. If you're looking at what's happening next year for the 150th anniversary, not next year, actually in a couple of months, but next season, we have some new updates on what we can expect. Cedar Point is opening a new toll plaza, which will have lanes exclusively for Gold Pass and other season ticket holders, and also a self-scanning gate option, which is similar to what they have at Kings Island. And there are some new food options coming to Cedar Point. I am particularly excited about this one. They are going to have vegan and vegetarian options. This will be at a restaurant called Wild Turnip, and that will be located at the end of Frontier Trail near Thunder Canyon. So a couple of the items that we can expect there are a power salad bowl with broccoli, kohlrabi. I'm not exactly sure what kohlrabi is, but you could Google it if you want to know what that is. Brussels sprouts and kale with a blood orange shallot vinaigrette. That sounds absolutely delicious. They'll also have a plant-based bratwurst with sauerkraut, and also a gluten-free personal pan cheese pizza, which is made with the cauliflower crust. And I can personally tell you that cauliflower crust is delicious. If you have not had it yet, you are seriously missing out. Whether you're vegan, vegetarian, a meat eater, whatever you are, you have to try pizza with cauliflower crust. Not a bad idea to do it at Cedar Point. And that would be a vegetarian option if it does have real cheese on it. They're also going to have some more ice cream options. They're going to have the Custard Creamery, which will have frozen vanilla and chocolate custard, chocolate chip polar bear sandwiches, chocolate eclair bars, and that will be just below the Sky Ride station near the Scrambler. Also, there will be a new redemption center. So this is for people who really think ahead and plan ahead, and people who have pre-purchased vouchers for things like Fast Lane, drink and dining plans, and Fun Picks photos. That will be located near the French Quarter Confections area. And you can also still buy all of these things on site. By the way, you don't have to buy them in advance. You can buy those things at ticket windows, but this new redemption center will be specifically for people who have planned ahead so that you can make sure you're getting as much out of your time at Cedar Point as absolutely possible. There will also be a new photo op for everybody out there who loves Instagram just as much as I do. There will be a new 150th anniversary sign. This will be in front of the park's Midway Carousel and is expected to be very Instagrammable. And there will also be new marquee signage throughout the park honoring the 150th anniversary. So you can expect to see those at the intersections of Cedar Point Drive and Cleveland Road, and also Cedar Point Drive and First Street. All right. For people who don't want to wait until May to have their fun, we have our weekend guide for you every single week. And a couple of the big things that are coming up right now. Today opens the Cleveland Auto Show. It opens today, Friday, at 5 p.m. It goes from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. today. Those hours are going to vary. We've got the links to that up on the website as well and all of that information. So that runs through Sunday, March 1st. With differing hours depending on the different days. Tickets are the same as they have been in the past. They are $14 for adults, $12 for preteens, age 7 to 12, and also $12 for seniors, which are 62 and up. And then children 6 and younger get in free every day. Parking is free there. There is a family fun day this coming Monday, which extends that free admission from people through ages 6. You can also get in free. 15 and younger get in free on family fun day. That's February 24th. If you go on Tuesday, you get a free t-shirt for attending the auto show. And then Heroes Day is Thursday, February 27th. So that's for our first responders, our military service members, police, EMTs, firefighters, correction officers, 911 dispatchers. If you think it's you, it's probably you. They're extending that to a lot of people today because we're very thankful for the people who protect us and keep us safe here. Some of the things that you can expect to see there are the Cannonball Run vehicle. This is a 2005 Mercedes-Benz E63 AMG. So this is the car that Doug Tabbitt and his team drove across the country in just 27 hours and 25 minutes. So you'll be able to see that car there. There will also be celebrities there, including Nick Chubb, NASCAR's Justin Haley. Definitely want to check that out. There are 3 different driving opportunities inside the IX Center. This is at the IX Center, by the way. And then also you'll be able to check out the newest in electric vehicles and some of the top picks for the season. That includes the Chevrolet C8 Corvette, the Ford Mustang Mach-E, the 2021 GMC Yukon, the Hyundai Sonata Hybrid, and the Lexus RCF G23. It's going to be a great time at the auto show. You might want to check that out. Another fun thing happening this weekend is Bright Winter Fest is back in town. That is on Saturday in the Flats West Bank. So that starts at 3 p.m. It goes to midnight. I think the coolest thing about this is that it's actually free. Now, donations are very much appreciated and suggested, but not required. But it is recommended that you do get a ticket. You can get a free admission ticket online. I think they probably just want to get an idea of how many people are expecting to come. And then also, you don't have to wait in lines, I think, for a couple of other things if you get that admission ticket in advance. We do have the link to that on the website. And if you don't know what Bright Winter Fest is, it's a music festival. So we've got beautiful weather this weekend. You can take advantage of that. There will be food, drinks. There will be art that you can actually participate in. Lots of fun games. Last year they had this huge slingshot thing that was really cool. It's guaranteed to be a fun event. I highly recommend it. And if you are more into country music, if that's your style, you can see Lee Brice in concert on Saturday. His opener is Caroline Jones, and she has been named one of Rolling Stone's top country people to watch at this time and her up-and-coming capacity. So that's on Saturday at the Akron Civic Theater. Tickets are still available. We have the link to that on the website and our 3 News app. They're starting at $28. Saturday at 8 p.m. for that. And speaking of concerts, here is your reminder, if you're a Rascal Flatts fan, those tickets go on sale for their farewell tour this morning. They went on sale this morning at 10 a.m. So you'll be able to go ahead and get those tickets. They are coming to Blossom Music Center on September 4th. This is their farewell tour, so it might be the last time we get a chance to see them here in Ohio. You never know. We get revivals and reboots all the time, but they're calling this the farewell tour for a reason. So if you want to see Rascal Flatts, this might be your last chance to do so. Unless you catch them in Cincinnati on June 13th, that's a little bit sooner, and then they'll also be in Columbus on September 25th. All right, that does it for us today for 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. Thank you so much for joining us on the live stream. Really appreciate you being a part of the conversation here. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/user/WKYC-TV. If you're finding us somewhere else, whether that's on Facebook or on YouTube, you can also subscribe to our Facebook page, facebook.com/WKYC.channel3. You can keep the conversation with me going all the time. You can DM me or comment on a post or tweet at me @_Stephanie Haney. Really appreciate hearing from all of you. I do really love engaging in this conversation and having that dialogue. So don't be shy. Please say hello. Thank you so much for joining us here on 3 News Now. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and we will see you back here on Monday.